Hey everyone, today we are going to learn about threads in C++, which is one of the most powerful features introduced in modern C++, and why you need to learn about threads because it helps us to run multiple tasks parallelly by taking the full advantage of multi-core processors. Let me clarify you with an example. For example, you have a kitchen and you want to prepare 5 different dishes. If you have just one cook inside the kitchen, then he will be able to work on just one dish at a time. So after completing the one dish, then he will be able to move to the next dish. In this way, he will take a lot of time in order to prepare all of these 5 dishes. On the other hand, if you have 5 cooks and all of these cooks were working independently on different dish and parallelly, so in this way they will complete all of these 5 dishes in a very short time. Let's start with the simplest example. First, we will see how we can create a simple single thread inside our C++ program. So first we have to include the important libraries, and the first library I need is the IOStream library, which is useful for handling input and output. And the second library I need to include is the thread library, which helps us to create and handle threads. Next, I'm going to create a function of type void, and the name for my function is task1. Here I'm going to create a set of small brackets, and for now I'm not going to pass any arguments inside these brackets. And next I have to define the scope of this function. For this I have to create a set of curly brackets here, and next I have to define the task for this function called task1. So I'm going to simply print inside this function the string, for example, cooking rice. So this function is responsible for cooking the rice, for example, and after printing it I want to move my cursor to the next line. For this I have to type here NL, and in the end put semicolon here. Next, I'm going to create a main function of type int, create a set of small brackets, again create a set of curly brackets. Now we are going to create our thread. To create a thread, you have to type here std, you have to call the thread library, and from this library you have to create an object, and you can type any name for your thread. So I'm going to give name for my thread is t1. Here you have to create a set of small brackets and put semicolon in the end, and inside these brackets you can pass the function which you want to run inside this thread. So I'm going to run this task1 function inside my thread. So for this, inside these brackets I have to type the name for my function, which is task1. Now we'll create the thread and run this task1 function. Next, I have to wait until it will finish this task. So for this I have to type the name for my thread t1, and I have to call the method join, again set of small brackets and put semicolon at the end. Next, after completing the task, I'm going to print something in the end. For example, dinner is ready, and again I want to move my cursor after printing this to the next line, so I have to type here NL and semicolon in the end. Now you have to save your program. Now click on this play button in order to run your program, and now in the output window you can see that first it will run this thread and it will wait until it will complete the task, then it will print this line. So first it is cooking the rice, and after cooking the rice it is saying that dinner is ready. Next we will see what will happen if we don't wait for the thread one until it completes its tasks. For this I have to comment this line, this t1.join. It waits here until the t1 complete its task, then it will print dinner is ready. What will happen if we don't wait? If I will run my program again, so here you will get the debug error. And why you will get this error? When you see in the output you are seeing that dinner is ready first, then it is printing cooking rice. It means your program is executing this last line first, then it is running the thread. So it is not possible. For example, after this line your program will end, then it will try to run the thread which never exists inside the program memory because our program is already finished. So that's why you must have to wait until the thread completes its task. Next, we will see how we can run this thread T1 independently in the background. So in this way, we don't have to wait here until the T1 complete its task. So it will continue the execution from the next line. So how we can achieve this? You just have to replace this join function with the detach function. So it will detach this thread from this main part and it will run it in the background. Now if I will run my program again, in the output you can see that we are not getting any error, but here we are only getting dinner is ready. So why we are not getting cooking rice? The reason for this is that because our main program is finishing first, it will not give enough time to the thread T1 to run its task in the background. So to fix this, we have to wait a little bit in our main program so it will have enough time for the T1 to run its task in the background. So for this, you have to type here std this thread sleep for, create a set of small brackets, and inside these brackets write std chrono seconds, and we are going to wait for at least 3 seconds, for example, and put semicolon in the end. Now if I will run my program again, now you can again see that we are not getting any error, and here it is running this dinner is ready. Now it is also giving enough time for the T1 to run its task in the background. So in this way you can run your threads independently. Next we will see how we can run the function with arguments inside our thread. Here I am going to pass one argument, for example of type string, and the name for the variable is s, for example. And now this is our function task1. Now instead of cooking rice, I am to passing this variable here. So type s here. Now in order to pass the arguments from your main function for this task1 function, you have to put comma here, and our argument type is of type string. So we have to pass the string here, for example cooking rice. Now save your program, run it again. So this is how you can run the function with arguments inside your thread. Next, if you want to pass multiple arguments inside your function, so you have to simply put comma here, and the next argument I'm going to put of type int, and the name for my variable is I. So here again, to give the argument inside your thread for this function, you have to put comma, and now you have to put the value for this int type variable, so you can put 1 here. So in this way you can also run the function with one or multiple arguments. Next, in the last example, we will see how we can now create multiple threads and how we can run all of these threads in parallel. For this, I'm going to again change this detach from join, and now we can use this task for any string. So I'm going to replace it from task1 to task just. So you have to again use task here, and for this task we are just passing the cooking rice, so it will cook the rice, for example. And to create a second thread, I am going to copy the same from here, go to the next line and paste it here, and pass T2 here. And in this thread we will assign the task, for example frying chicken, and again we have to wait until the frying is complete. So we have to type here t2.join, put set of small brackets and semicolon in the end. Now we are using join, so we don't have to wait here because our program will wait here until both of these threads will complete their task. So now save your program and run it again. Now you can see that it is frying the chicken and cooking the rice parallelly, and when both are done, then it is saying that dinner is ready. Next, in order to verify that both of our threads are really learning parallelly, so that's why I put the wait here of about 2 seconds, and again I have to put the wait here of 3 seconds. So it will complete both of these tasks in 2 seconds, and then it will wait for 3 seconds, and then it will print dinner is ready. If I will run my program again, you will see that it is waiting for 2 seconds and it is printing cooking rice and frying chicken at the same time because both are running parallelly, and after that it is waiting for 3 seconds and then it is printing dinner is ready. This is all about threads. If you want to learn more about C++, you can subscribe my channel and also press the bell icon to get the updates of the new uploads. See you next time. Bye bye.